On March 29, 1960, a group called the Committee to Defend Martin Luther King and the Struggle for Freedom in the South took out a full-page ad in the New York Times to raise money to defend Dr. King against a perjury charge. The ad was called "Heed Their Rising Voices."
And it was sort of what we would now call an advertorial, because it was an essay signed by dozens of people, including Marlon Brando and Eleanor Roosevelt.
It was meant to inform people about the civil rights movement, to seek contributions to support the civil rights movement, and it told the story about certain incidents that had occurred in Montgomery, Alabama, that involved demonstrations.
They were protesting the treatment that Martin Luther King was receiving in the South.
So they listed all the horrible ways that the South was trying to shut down Dr. King. And they said, you must give us money so that we can defend against this.
Down in Montgomery, the ad in the Times eventually came to the attention of the police commissioner L.B. Sullivan. When Sullivan read the ad, he was furious at how it portrayed the actions of his police force in response to civil rights demonstrations. And even though no Alabama officials were named in the ad, Sullivan decided anyone in Montgomery who read the ad would think it was about him.
The argument was that people would understand that he was responsible for bringing about the acts that they were criticizing.
Sullivan said, even though I wasn't named in this ad, this was really directed at me because these are my police that allegedly did these things to Martin Luther King.
He then sues for libel in a local court.
Libel is a written statement that makes a false allegation about an individual that damages his or her reputation.
People who bring libel cases are usually people who have a lot at stake with their reputation.
In fact, another word for libel is defamation, to defame, to harm someone's reputation. And libel and defamation are not considered free speech.
So historically, the Supreme Court has said that there are certain categories of speech that were not protected by the First Amendment.
The First Amendment isn't meant to encourage lying or false statements designed to harm someone's reputation. So this is simple, right? L.B. Sullivan felt wrong, so he sued to clear his name. But it turned out that a lot of men brought a lot of libel suits against a lot of press covering the civil rights movement. What was going on?
This is a strategy that had been worked out throughout the South.
The theory was that if you could threaten newspapers that if they published these stories, they were going to be sued in Alabama or in Mississippi, and hostile juries hold them liable for very large damage awards. This was to basically deter newspapers from publishing any stories about segregation, and the libel doctrine was being used to achieve that goal.